Gemma, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Thanks so much for
Good.
taking the time to meet with me.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I tell you what, I bet we're both glad we're working from home today because it's so
Yes.
miserable out there, isn't it? It's
Awful. I
just
know. I sent my kid to school. I sent my son to school this morning. I was like, oh, I'm just going home and staying in for the rest
yeah.
of
No, absolutely. So yeah, lovely to meet you too. I had a quick sort of chat with Sean yesterday.
Yeah.
And we were just saying sort of like, I think all that makes sense to do today, if this is okay with you, is really just have a pretty sort of like informal chat.
Yeah.
Obviously I recognise you've been at Selic for a very long time. I've been at Sacco Mann for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I think if we just sort of like chat sort of around sort of like what you've done, what you've liked, what you've not liked, what you'd like to do, ideally. And obviously I can tell you just a bit more sort of generically about us and what we're like and what we do. And just kind of like see if there's sort of scope, and if there is, then we'll dig into the boring details, you know, later on at that point, sort of thing, really. But it probably makes sense just to sort of like explore the bigger stuff to begin with, really. So obviously I looked at your CV and I can see you've been at Selic for is it about 15 years, something like that? Were you in recruitment before that? I don't even know if I looked at what you've done before you joined.
No, it wasn't. I left uni and then I worked in some random jobs for Greater Manchester Police, and then the lady that did internal recruitment at Selic, reached out when I was being made redundant. And then to be fair, I went and I was like, oh, this will be like a year tops. I don't think I can do this. And I'm still there. So
I know. It's crazy how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's so bizarre. My first job out of uni was also in the resourcing team at Greater Manchester Police.
Oh, was it?
How weird. But yeah, it is. It's interesting how most of the people I know fell into recruitment completely by accident. Did you do a law degree or anything? Or
no, I didn't do anything. It was honestly just really random. Really, I didn't really know anything about law. But to be fair, I don't think you need to.
Like, no, I don't think you do.
You know, it's quite easy to get your head around it all, and you don't need to know the ins and outs of everything, do you? So,
you don't. You really don't. I know. I was the same. I had absolutely no legal knowledge whatsoever. I did an English lit degree. I was just like floating around, just like do. Had no sales experience, no legal experience, nothing. Exactly. So yeah, it's interesting how you can just like fall into it and find your feet, really, isn't it? So what desk do you currently have? What's been the
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, it's fine. So I've been doing the same thing really the whole time. I worked as a resourcer for the first year, and then I've been recruiting ever since. And that is predominantly locum in public sector. So it's mainly local authorities. Like our main clients are local authorities, and it's probably like 99% interim recruitment. We do pick up permanent and fixed term contract work if it's there. And we do work with some other public sector organisations, so like housing associations, police, some charities, things like that. And so I've recruited to like central government before, some other sort of government related organisations. But yeah, my main clients are local authorities. And then at the moment, I've kind of done it across the whole country. I think I've been in and out for a couple of maternity leaves, and when I've come back, I've taken on different clients. So at the moment, it's Essex, Kent, Suffolk, and Norfolk. The areas I recruit to.
They're not that's not like the biggest patch in the world then, is it? Because how many councils are there in Essex? There's obviously Essex County, there's
good question. There's about 12, and actually it's an interesting time because they're obviously all going through local government reorganisation, so they're all joining. So it is going to be interesting to see how things look. I mean, when I started, the first patch I sort of had was like the whole of the southeast and South Wales going all the way to Reading. So it was massive. And then another time I had like the whole of Yorkshire, East Midlands, and the whole of the northeast. So I think like as time's gone on, our patches have become smaller and smaller, and I really like and the team's grown a lot. So so it's not a massive patch, but actually there's still quite surprising how much work there still is.
That is interesting, isn't it? Because when we had our temp desk, we
Yeah.
literally just had me and one other person, and like
Yeah.
I say, we did like the local authorities across the whole country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just sort of like there was so much
Yeah.
there was so much to go at. I mean, Essex County Council were one of my like best clients. They really were.
Yeah.
We just like made so much money out of them, it was frightening.
Yeah.
But then obviously the change for us started kicking in with when like Commensurate and Matrix and all of those came in, and they brought in the sort of fixed rate of like £2.50 an hour margins, etc. Which obviously took us a massive hit for us, and we were just sort of like, oh god, this doesn't really seem that viable anymore. Is it still very much like run by the master vendors and all of those sort of frameworks and stuff now?
Yeah, I mean, some areas are very sort of heavy. Like the team here that recruit to London, you know, their margins are all quite small. They've got like a high volume but low margins. But I sort of looked at my temps, because I've currently got 57 temps that I'm sort of managing placements.
Wow.
And it's like 50-50 of who is through managed service or framework, and 50% of those people are through nothing. It's just
wow, really?
Yeah, so actually it's quite surprising, because I think actually they obviously did come. We never signed up to anything below £2, and we carried on sort of supplying through Commensurate, Matrix, etc. But then as time's gone on, we've negotiated bigger margins. So with a lot of our clients through Commensurate, we'll have like 18% margins. So actually, if we're making like £10 an hour, it's really worth it.
Suddenly, yeah, absolutely. That makes a significant difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think it has changed a lot. And then we've also got clients where actually we just can't supply because the margins are too low. I've literally just had a conversation. Norfolk County Council have just moved on to Commensurate, and I've literally just been having a conversation with them about how we have to go through the CCS framework instead. And actually, I think because they like using us and they want to use us, clients are obviously fine with doing it. They'll just go outside the arrangement. So actually, it works fine. I can see it. Just, I suppose it depends on how big the team is and how much you're sort of relying on that. But yeah,
absolutely.
Not do any interim at all anymore then at Sacco?
No, so we basically so we've always historically been a permanent agency, and then we actually started our interim desk because we hired 2 people from Selic. So 2 people moved over from Selic. You might know the names. I think it probably have been just. What year did you join? What year was it? Sorry,
2010. It was November 2010. Yeah.
So it will have been before your time, because it was about 2007. But Kelly Wadkins and Claire Emery, they came over from Selic, and she'd been with Selic for probably about 5 years at that time. So she really understood the temp market. She really understood. So she came over and brought her knowledge and established our interim desk. And even then, we predominantly focused on private practice locum work in the northwest in Yorkshire, because that's where our sort of regional strongholds are. But then the financial crash happened in 2008, and we were like, no one has any money. This is an issue. And the only people who still had money was local authority. That was the only place where there was any money. So we were like, right, that's where we're going to go. So we immediately just literally sort of like jumped 2 feet straight into public sector and did nothing but public sector for a really big period of time. Until like I say, all of the sort of Commensurate and the matrices and that started to come in, and that sort of coincided with, so Kelly had married a guy who's from London, and so she relocated down south. And so when she kind of like moved down south, I'd only been doing recruitment for maybe like 2 years at that point or something. So, you know, I was still pretty green. And so just with the distance, and then with the changing in the market and the margins, and then there was loads of changes with like the IR35, and there was just so many things, and it just, we kind of at one point just took a bit of a step back. It was probably about maybe 2015, something like that. We sort of took a step back and we were like, is this still actually is the risk, and you know, is the benefit outweighing the risk? And we were like, not really. We're not really making enough money off it to justify it. So we only had 2 people doing it. So we chose at that moment to sort of like put a pin in it and just kind of go, you know what, perm is what we do, perm is what we've always done, it's what we're known for, let's just revert back to that. But we did always kind of say, you know, it wasn't the interim market that we're averse to as such. It was just the market at that time just didn't really sort of suit us. So I was saying to Sean yesterday, I was like, it's interesting, like, you know, I genuinely have no accurate insights as to what the interim market even remotely looks like these days, because we've just not touched it.
Yeah.
So you will know significantly more about what the lay of that land is, in both public sector and probably private practice, because you stumble across private practice jobs, I'm sure, without even looking for them, than we would. So it's just interesting to sort of hear your thoughts about how buoyant that market is, and how workable it is, I guess, really.
No, definitely. Yeah, we've got a separate team here that do private practice actually, and they're based in Leeds, so we don't really have any crossover, but there's some crossover with the candidates that we work with. But yeah, I mean, they've got a few people on their team. I think there are sort of 4 or 5 of them who cover the whole of the country, so I don't think it's too bad. But no, I don't know too much about it. But I mean, on our team, just doing sort of local authority, there's about 12 of us.
Wow,
so,
is
it's big, yeah. And then we've got another team where there's 4 of them just doing central government. So yeah, that is busy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's lucrative.
yeah. I think it was like mental during COVID. Because I went on maternity leave in 2020, and it was just fine, ticking along, and then I came back and it was just absolutely wild. It was just crazy. Yeah, it's really weird coming back, and then obviously everyone was working remotely, which no one sure when
it was a crazy time, wasn't it? It was absolutely bonkers. It really was.
So it's definitely quietened down since then, but yeah, still busy enough. But
obviously.
Yeah.
So obviously 15 years. What is, I mean, I'm aware obviously of the PE backing and the buyout at Selix. I'm aware there's obviously been some structural changes, or changes of ownership, whatever you want to call it. But obviously there's, when you've been somewhere for so long, it's no small step to kind of even just dip your toe to kind of see what else is out there, because you've obviously worked there for a long time. You know Selix inside out, and you obviously have got, I'm sure you've probably got like the flexibility and the setup that you want. You've got an amazing desk that you've probably got nicely ticking over, clients who know you, and so there must have been something pretty big, or a few medium-sized things that sort of prompted you to go, could there be anything else?
I think it's a amalgamation of a few things, really. So I think one of them is, I have obviously been here for 15 years, and I do feel like what else is out there? Like, it would be nice to just do something else, work somewhere else, just have a change. Like, I'm sure you've probably been there, you come in every day, you know exactly what you're doing. Sometimes it's just not very challenging, and it would be nice just to push myself a little bit. And I think as well on that front, like, a lot of people here have been here for a similar amount of time. There isn't a lot of room for progression. It's not necessarily something that I'm like desperate for, but it isn't maybe something I'd necessarily want to do here. So it's not something I'm sort of like going for. So I think really like, if I'm here, it literally is just doing this role. And obviously, I get I've got the hours I want, I've got the flexibility I want, I've make decent money. Like, there's loads of positives, but it's just kind of looking at the bigger picture. I think there's also been a few changes this year which have kind of prompted me to look as well. I don't know if you've heard about it. We've had commission changes. You may have heard about. I don't know. There does seem to be a push to make patches smaller, which, to be fair, is fine. But it just I think sometimes it doesn't feel like you have much of a voice if you want to sort of raise something. And I think when I've been here for so long, it would just be nice to maybe be heard and appreciated a bit more somewhere. If I'm being fully honest.
No, and I can completely understand that. Like you say, you think you've certainly got the knowledge and the experience. You'd like to think that if you've got something to add, it's valuable and certainly worth listening to. Even if, like you say, they listen to it and go, we hear what you're saying, but we're not going to do it because of this reason, then fair enough. But it can be frustrating, I think, if you feel like you're not being heard. It's not great.
No, and I think the difficulty is, I think it's a common theme across the whole of the team, and it doesn't make for the best work environment all the time.
No, absolutely.
And then also, I think the main thing is the first point I made, right? I just think, I don't know, do I stay here forever? Like, there must be like something else and like other opportunities to pursue. And so that's really why I'm just sort of looking out at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, like you say, I mean, I've been in a similar situation, like you say, where it's sort of like you kind of like, God, sometimes when I look at someone, if we get candidates in and we look at their CVs and someone's worked somewhere for like 12 years, we're like, loser, they've obviously got no ambition. We'll say
I
things
know.
like that. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I've been here for 19 years. That's actually, talking about myself. But
Yeah,
when I sort of take a step back and like look at it, I the reason I haven't necessarily been tempted at any point so
yeah,
far is because like my role has constantly evolved. So
yeah,
like you say,
yeah,
I what I'm doing this year isn't the same as what I was doing 2 years ago.
yeah,
It has grown and there are different things that I'm
yeah,
able to do. So it doesn't feel like I've been doing the same job,
yeah,
obviously, for that
yeah,
long. And like you say, and I think if you don't get the sense as that, like you say, that opportunity where you can continue to challenge yourself, or like you say, just sort of push, like mentally you just want to be
yeah,
sort of like
yeah,
challenged a bit or learn something new or do something that's a bit uncomfortable
yeah,
even, and if there's no opportunity to do that, then you the flip of that is that you worry about sort of stagnating, don't you, and just sort
yeah,
of like,
definitely that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's funny actually because I said to Sean yesterday, I said, does it look weird that I've just not really progressed? Because I have been offered the opportunity to, and I've just not wanted to take those particular opportunities when they come up. So, which is why I'm still where I am. Because I was saying to Sean yesterday, like I did before I went on my last maternity leave, manage our compliance team, which was a team of 5. I managed our IT
oh
guy,
right,
and so I do have like all that experience. I quite like managing people, but
yeah,
I think one of the strange things about where I am is when I came back, you don't sort of get the you don't get back kind of what you had when you left, which I think is maybe just a recruitment thing. I don't know, but like you kind of go on a break or whatever, and that job is given to someone else. So,
yeah, absolutely,
and
yeah,
it's just like,
dead the second you walk out the door until you come back.
yeah, like which, to be fair, it was fine. When I came back from maternity leave, I just wanted to concentrate on making some money, so I didn't even raise it as an issue. And I was sort of presented with an opportunity to manage one of the sales teams a couple of years ago. And to be honest, it wasn't people I'd had anything to do with recruiting, and they weren't really people that I necessarily wanted to manage. Not to say that I'd always have that attitude about
Yeah,
people,
yeah, no, but
but
it's different
I
if
think I was
you.
in a sense, my son was still, it was like 2. I was like, I just need to concentrate just on my own thing for now. And yeah, so the opportunities have been there, but yeah, I was saying, Sean, like, I wonder if it looks weird that I just have just carried on doing this, but he
No,
assured me it
no,
wasn't.
I don't think so. I don't think it does, because I think the difference for me was when I came back from mat leave,
Yeah,
I very explicitly said, I'm only coming back part time and I don't want to fee earn.
yeah, yeah,
Because I was just like, especially on a temp desk, I was a bit sort of like, I wanted to come back 3 days, and I was like, you can't run a temp desk on 3 days.
no,
It moves so quickly. It would
yeah,
be really unfair on the other members of the team because they'd end up picking up my work.
yeah,
And then that just like, I would be like, that would cause resentment, and I don't want to do that. I was like, I just don't want to. So we found a different role for me at that point.
yeah,
Which enabled me to do it. So that's why I think I've been really fortunate that sort of like the path that I've been able to take in is slightly atypical, if you
yeah,
know what I mean,
yeah,
because I haven't had the restraint of having fee earning responsibilities. I
yeah,
think being a mum and being a fee earner, like, I mean, I doff my cap to anyone who's able to do anything beyond those two things. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because there's just only so many
yeah,
hours in the day, isn't there?
yeah,
And so it is. I don't think I don't think it looks weird. And like you say, it's not. Sometimes it's about, I think if you're going to be a manager in particular, you need to be really genuinely invested in the people that you're
yeah,
managing to
yeah,
actually care.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you don't care about the people you're managing, well, that I
No,
think
well, no,
it's a
exactly.
difficult enough job.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
I think generally for us, the people that we have as managers, they're people who've like come up, and like you say, the people that they're managing are the people that they've brought through,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like their
Makes
team,
a
it's like their,
difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, so it feels
yeah,
different. Whereas I think, if someone said to me like, oh, do you want to manage this team in Leeds, I mean, I know everyone really well, obviously, because we're
yeah,
quite small, and
yeah,
but even still I'd be like, oh, well, I'm not the right person to manage them, like, we don't have that relationship. So I think sometimes it's about what opportunity is
yeah,
presented
yeah,
rather
exactly
than
that.
just
Yeah,
snatching anything that comes along, isn't it,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Um, so what would you, I know it's a bit of a like difficult question, isn't it, in terms of like what would you absolutely love? But if you had the opportunity where you could literally just be like, magic wand, this is my ideal scenario of what would be a possibility in the next role, what sort of things, what sort of scope would you like?
It is. Do you know what? It is a difficult question, and I don't know why I'm finding it so difficult to answer. Like, I think it's because I've been doing the same thing for such a long time, and I kind of feel like I don't know what's kind of out there. Like, I know I like doing interim recruitment. When I've been speaking about it, it's like I don't mind doing permanent recruitment, but I probably want some element of interim recruitment to be involved in
that. Would make sense, obviously.
Yeah. I obviously know public sector so well. I was saying to Sean, it was more from like a moral point of view that I think I'd feel weird going somewhere else and doing it, but I don't know if that's I don't know if I would or I wouldn't actually when I really think about it. Like, I might be open to it, but it needs to look a bit different probably to what I'm doing now, potentially. Yeah. And it'd just be nice to go somewhere where there is some opportunity. Not like I'm not expecting someone to give me like a job with like loads of new responsibilities, but where I can see like a clear line of like some sort of progression if it was wanted. Yeah, that would be great. Like, I'm not 100% set on like I want to be a director or I want to do this. It's more just seeing some opportunity and it being achievable, really. Yeah.
We sometimes do that, like you say, when we do people's appraisals, and it'll be like, oh, what do you want? And they're like, we don't. And then people will say like, I want to step up, but I don't really know what that looks like. I just know that I don't want, like you say, I don't just want to be here forever. So we've tried to create like a bit of a pathway that's, so we've got the like dead obvious management pathway, obviously, which, you know, is a relatively straightforward linear path in terms of if someone's really passionate about management, they often then step into a management role and go, God, this is really hard. Managing people's really difficult. I don't want to say more. But before they get to that point, if that's the route they want to go, you know, it's quite an easy sort of path to kind of be like, okay, well, this is what you need to do. You start by mentoring, you can start getting involved in a bit of training, you can start doing a bit of stats analysis, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, it's a quite easy, straightforward path that we can set people on. But we've also got some amazing people in the business who are absolutely like prolific fee earners, and like you say, who are really who are like interested in business, and they want to be much more widely involved in other stuff, but they want nothing to do with management. So we've created what we call like a strategic pathway, essentially, which is where we've got the opportunity, we give people the opportunity to get involved in sort of projects, I guess, where they've got genuinely like a vested interest in it, and there's a business need there and it suits their skill set, and that allows them to just get involved sort of more commercially, more strategically, on lots of so many different projects, you know, in terms of like what we can do, that, like you say, it's something that's not just fee earning. It allows them to interact with other people in the business outside of their desk, but it's not just doing bog standard management. So we do try and do that wherever we can and wherever it's appropriate. And there's loads of different stuff, you know, like I say, there's obviously this training, but we've recently, you know, we've been running like a bit of a PSL project where we were just sort of like in private practice, we have a habit of the HR recruitment points of contact like are just like the bane of our lives, because, you know, they're just gatekeepers and they just don't, you know, they just don't, you know, you just want to speak to the person who knows, like we want to speak to the hiring manager, and if you're not them, we'd really rather not deal with you. So we kind of see them as like the pencil pushers who are getting in our way. But we kind of took a bit of a step back and we were like, you know what, we need to sort of change our viewpoint on this a little bit, because we need them to be our allies, and if they're our allies, then that will probably give us a freer run and less like fee disputes and blah blah blah. So we like, one of these strategic people has been in charge of just sort of coordinating with all the different consultants, because, you know, working with all the different clients to kind of say, how can we tackle this, what can we do, how can we move it forward. So just little projects like that, do you know what I mean, that are sort of like things where you're just thinking a bit more outside the box and using recruitment experience to sort of like share knowledge, but then kind of going, go people, go, you go and do it. So do you think stuff like that would be appealing, in terms of off desk stuff where you're adding value, but it's not you know.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Like we have a similar thing here, you know, it's the same. You either go down a management route, which was the route I was going down before I went on maternity leave. When I came back, the management roles there wasn't any opportunities, so they just switched me over basically. And so like the next role for me would be a senior business manager. But if I did that, you don't actually do anything else. Like you have the title, but you're not like actually involved in anything. So it's like, you know, you have to do some things to hit the criteria to get the job title, fine, like obviously, but then there's nothing that kind of comes with that job. So I've never really like thought I've not gone for it, because I thought, well, there's no
like incentive.
It doesn't kind of add anything for me. So yeah, like that would be really interesting. I think I don't know, it's weird having been here for so long. I don't think I realised like how much experience I've got. And then you even talking about that, but it's like one of the things we talk about at work, you know, like all the different people in an organisation that you need to make sure you're building relationships with, you know, not just HR, not just the hiring manager, like procurement, etc., etc. Like you've got to go with all those different people. And I think actually like I do have a lot to give. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think I just sort of sit there doing my job, not really thinking about it. But I must know a lot. So like, yeah, it would be nice to get involved with staff and knowledge and, you know, help people and
even just understanding like little bits of the process in terms of like the candidate control throughout a process, in terms of, you know, like how you do that. You know, we see it so much in our junior consultants where, you know, they have lots of processes, but they only convert, you know, like 15 or 20% of them, whereas the people sat next to them who are more experienced will convert 50 to 60%. And they're like, I don't understand why I'm doing everything right. And it's teeny tiny little nuanced things, isn't it, where it's like, well, actually, if you'd asked this question at this point, or they said X to you and you've taken that at face value, but actually you should have dug into that because you know there was a red flag there that you've purposefully sort of buried your head on or whatever. So, and sometimes you feel like you're such a nitpicker, kind of going, oh, you didn't ask this question in exactly the right way, and that's why it's not gone right. But so, you know, it is about picking and identifying your battles in that sense. But I think when you've been doing it for so long, there's so much that is just intuitive, just like it's just there without you even realizing it. It's only when you sit next to someone who doesn't have it that you're like, oh God, I know so much more than you.
It's true.
It is. It absolutely is. It really is. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, obviously, from our perspective, because we don't currently have anyone doing any sort of interim work whatsoever, you know, one of the things that you would need to think about is, irrelevant of what sector we look at, or, you know, what we do is you would obviously be essentially establishing that desk. So we would need to collectively sit down and put a sort of a strategy, a plan of attack in place in terms of, well, what sector would we go for? And how, you know, so which sort of clients would we go for, you know, because you mentioned there, obviously, I know there's a central government team that you've not done, but that obviously is also lucrative. So it'd be like, okay, well, there's so much crossover of knowledge there. Would that be a sensible place for us to start? Because then you don't feel like you're doing the same as you were doing before, but there's a natural, or like, do we do a bit of analysis and see if there is a private practice market out there? In which case, do we just start there because we've got clients and we've got candidates? We just need to find the jobs. You know, so and patches and all of that sort of stuff. You know, we'd need to really have a think about how would we be in a position to bring someone with your skill set in and give you an appropriate platform that you can then just, you know, bounce off and use the knowledge and the skills that you've got to get up and running quite quickly, for your own, you know, for your own sense of like sanity more than anything. You know, it's all things like that we'd really need to sort of like deeply consider, because it'd need to be something that you're excited about and where you're like, oh my God, this is gonna be brilliant. And also be a viable market at the same time, so that you can make some money out of it. And so those are the sorts of things that we'd need to start thinking about in terms of moving forward. Have you had a thought about, I mean, I know obviously you said, you know, you do local authority, and so, you know, you wouldn't necessarily just want to replicate that elsewhere. Is there another sector where you'd be like, if I had to, you know, if you're not going into a business that's already got an established desk, what would excite you?
Well, I've been talking to Sean about potentially looking at in-house. I had a bit of a crossover with in-house when our in-house team set up, so that was probably more interesting to me than private practice and locum in private practice. But I don't know if there's even a market for it. I don't know. I know most in-house teams tend to focus on permanent roles and would pick up some interim if it came through from their clients. So that was of interest. I am, now that I'm sort of thinking about this and speaking about it, I am thinking more about public sector and whether I should just not worry about my morals and whether that is something that I could offer people. I don't know. Yeah.
I know, and I totally get that, like especially because you've worked there for so long, you know, and it's not so it's not a you know, there's some people who would be really cutthroat about it and just be like, well, you know, more fool, you know, no, they're not the boss of me anymore, you know, I've got freedom to do what I want. But I also would be the same as you. You know, I'm quite a sort of like empathetic person, so it would, you know, it is something that would play on your mind. So it's about was potentially looking to see if we could find a path that you would still feel really comfortable with, but also isn't just going to lay waste to everything that you've learned over the last 15 years. You know, it's like, could we find something that allows us to sort of like bridge the two?
There's definitely a gap in, like, I think with things like housing associations and other public sector organisations where we don't focus on it, but like we always talk about the need to focus on it, but people are so busy with like local government, they don't put the time into it. So like there's definitely like a market there, and that's not just for like straightforward legal, that's like information governance and stuff like that as well, so it sort of crosses over into different areas of work. So that potentially, I think, but yeah, I do need to think about it, and I appreciate, I need to like be like, well, this is what I can do, like this is what I want to do. I think I've just been a bit thrown, just because I was initially talking to Sean about maybe looking at something different, like in-house or something, but actually I think when I reflect on my own skill set, I maybe need to sort of look at a bit of a mix.
Absolutely. Because we did do, so I mean, when our interim desk, we serviced private practice in-house and local authority. I mean, we really were like jacks of all trades, but we were able to do that because the work got fed to us, because obviously we'd get work fed from the private practice team, but we also have an in-house division, so we get work fed from the in-house division as well. And there is the money in-house is like massive. You could get like incredible margins in-house, but the only problem with in-house is they're much fewer and further between, obviously, and they are, BCL have got like the interim in-house market quite neatly tied up with a bow. Like they've been in it for so long and they're so well established that they've got so many long-standing relationships. That would almost be, I think, for somebody like a side project to be chipping away at alongside something else, because I don't think that it would generate enough cash immediately to satisfy, or that, you know, the jobs, even our in-house team, like, you know, they work on, like, if they get instructed on like 2 new jobs a week, they're like, oh my god, we're so busy. So, you know, it's really like it's a really sort of slow, long-winded process. So we would definitely we would definitely be open, and we would have opportunities, I think, in-house, certainly, but I don't know if it would be a standalone desk initially. But again, these are all things where I'm talking from knowledge from 15 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So it could be so utterly out of date. It would probably require us going away and doing a little bit of like Indeed searching, and, you know, just seeing what sort of opportunities are out there, really, to sort of like properly explore and whatnot. What other businesses are you talking to at the moment? Have you had any other meetings, or is there any other meetings you've got lined up?
I've spoken to a couple of people, and one I ruled out, and for various reasons, and not speaking to loads of people. I probably shouldn't say anything. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Like you say, but you know, you're in a really fortunate position, because, you know, you're obviously not in a desperate rush to like flee immediately.
No, I want to find the right thing. Definitely.
So you can make an informed decision about what you want and where you want to be and what it looks like. And what you'll probably find is, obviously, with every conversation, it'll probably just like add another brick to the, you know, to the jigsaw. And
actually, because it is helping me think about it a bit more, and I think it will help me sort of work out what I can offer and hopefully come back to you with sort of some stronger ideas.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like I say, you know, we're a bit of an open book at this, because we're always open to looking at like different and new revenue streams. We're constantly sort of like thinking, you know, but what we also are very conscious of doing is like we'd never want to dilute what we've got, because you know we don't want to be like, oh, let's try this and let's try this and that didn't work, and you know, that's not who we are. We're a bit like boring and old-fashioned, where you know we do take our time to make decisions because we want to make sure that we've got all the sort of data. Yeah, exactly, and like make sure that it's a sensible decision and that we feel like there's enough evidence to you know, to sort of justify it. And so you know, it's not like we're in a desperate rush for this. It's not like, you know, we're actively recruiting for a role. And so I think it needs to be the right thing for you, definitely, because like you say, that you know, 15 years, it's not a light decision to make, is it? You know, you're going to want to make sure that when you take that step, that you're like dead excited and you're really confident and you're going into it like buzzing, rather than thinking, oh shit.
I really want that. No, I'm excited for that as well. Like that's how I feel. Like I want to feel like that. So so definitely.
How many children have you got then?
Oh, I've got two boys. So the eldest is 12, he's in year 8, and the youngest is in year 1, he's 5. Nice. So how about you?
Yeah, I've just got the one. He turned 11 yesterday.
Today.
He's in year 6. So it's just the 3 of us. So that makes life slightly easier.
You've just done your high school applications.
God, the stress. And now we've just got to wait for like months and months and months until we find out. It's just like our fate is hanging in the ether. So it's really stressful, actually. Where do you live?
I live in Cheadle Hulme. So,
okay,
So not too bad. How about you?
I'm in Hale.
How are you?
Yeah. I used to live in Cheadle Hulme, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Just off Jill Bent. Road. Is it Jill Bent Road or Jill Bent Lane?
Yeah.
Can't still remember. But oh, nice. It's nice around there. That's good.
Yeah,
very nice. It's easy to get to town and stuff. So how often do you have to go in then these days? Do you have to just go in?
So we have to be in the office 3 days a week. So I work 4 days a week, but actually I actually only work 26 and 3/4 hours across the week, which is pretty nice. But like I'm totally open to doing more than that. It's just how it's sort of panned out and it works for me right now. But yeah, I go in Monday, Tuesday, and usually Thursday. But we're just going through an office move at the moment, so I am just at home for the next week. But so they are quite rigid in that. I don't really mind going into the office though. I quite like seeing people. But what's it like at Sacco Mann? Like, what's the sort of arrangement?
We do like 2 days in, 3 days from home. And in Manchester we have, so Wednesday is like our core office day, where we try and get everybody in, just so we've got one day where we're all together, and then the other day is basically just like people pick and choose what works for them. So I always do a Wednesday Thursday, just because that's what my childcare I've like sort of my childcare out, and that's just easy for me to do. But other people who've got more freedom, like you say, depending on what their week is like, they'll either be like, I'm going to front end it and do like Monday, Wednesday, just to like push my week forward, or they'll do the back end and do Wednesday, Thursday with me. And some people do go in more. So, you know, one of the girls who works in my team, she's got 3 kids. And she is a workaholic, but she's like, she's just not very good at working from home. She's like, I just need to be, if I'm in the office, I'm working, whereas if I'm at home, there's always something, either a child's off sick or, you know, something. So she comes into the office like 4 days a week, as and when she can, but there's no requirement for her to do that. That's just like a personal preference. So we're pretty flexible around things like that, really. It's just about
that's good.
And we've got one person who lives really far away. He only joined us in September, but he lives bloody miles away, so he just comes in once a week, because it's such a schlep for him. I'm like, I couldn't make you do it twice a week, I feel like. And he's got 4 kids, like,
oh wow, oh my God.
So just I'm surprised he doesn't come in more often, actually, just to get away from them.
I'd be doing that if that was me. I'd be there every day.
Exactly. So but no, it is, you know, so in Manchester there's how many of us is there in Manchester? I think there's 10 of us. There's only 10 of us in Manchester now, and over in Leeds there's more. So over in Leeds we've got like 24 24, 25,
Okay.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so we're like quite a small business. How many
Yeah.
have Sell It got actually? I don't even know
Oh,
what your head count is. It's
it
quite a
must
lot bigger
be.
than us, is it?
Yeah, it is. There's a few different offices. It's probably closer to 100, I would have
Oh God,
thought.
is it? Is it
Yeah, it's
really?
grown
Oh
a lot. Yeah, I
wow.
think there's about maybe nearly 70 in the head office now.
Oh
It has got a lot bigger. Yeah,
wow. Oh
yeah,
God,
because
I
it
had
was
no
really small
idea.
when I started. Yeah, it's grown a lot. But yeah, yeah.
Is Hannah Cotton still there?
Yeah, so she is the CEO now. So Jo
Oh,
obviously
is
left, and then
she?
Hannah went into that position. Yeah, so it does feel a lot different actually with Hannah in that position. But
Yeah,
I think it feels a lot more corporate actually. Jo was quite
interesting.
relaxed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
I
interesting.
know. And that's the thing sometimes I think with recruitment businesses as well. There's so much like desire to grow and expand and like
Yeah,
bill
and it
more and bring
100%.
more
Yeah,
money in and all of
yeah,
that sort of stuff, which obviously on the one hand it makes sense and is a sensible business plan. But when you do that, it does get to a certain point, I think, of headcount where it does change the type of business that it is, doesn't it? In
yeah,
terms of just, I mean, we are slightly smaller than we would probably like to be. We lost a
yeah,
couple of people in COVID, and then we just really wanted to like consolidate and just, and then since then we're just really really picky.
yeah.
So I know that sounds really daft, but like when it
No,
comes to
I think that's good.
personalities, sometimes you're just like, oh, but if that person isn't like, if they're not the right personality, because there's only, especially in Manchester, we're like, because there's
Yeah,
only 10 of us, if you
yeah.
bring someone in that's not the right person,
Oh no,
it
it's
affects every
awful.
single
Yeah, it
person.
really does. It really does. It's
Yeah, and
awful as
when
well because we obviously have had it before. People join the team and they're not right, and you do need to get rid of them, don't you? And it's just awful.
oh,
It's
it's
awful having those
awful.
conversations with
Oh,
people,
it's
and you
horrible.
can see the minute they start usually hard, and you just think, right,
Yeah.
enough work. It's just
On day
horrible.
two, you're like,
We're quite often the same. When I used to recruit, it used to take me ages to sort of say I'm happy with that person because I just, yeah, definitely be picky.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I think it does the ripple effects, and we've worked so hard to like create
Yeah.
the environment that we
Yeah.
all sort of
Yeah.
like feel comfortable in. We're a bit like, oh, but that said, I mean, it's not just about personality, obviously, but it's just about getting that balance, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
like just the
Yeah.
right person for the business. So it's not just it's things like ethos and it sounds really cheesy, but we do, like, the people we have working for us genuinely do care about providing like a good service. We
That's
really
good.
we
Yeah.
want clients and candidates to both value, respect,
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah.
We don't do anything sharky. We will always
Oh,
be
that is
100% above board.
I
I know
hate
it
being
sounds daft to have
snarky.
to say that, but
Awful. No, but
you
I
know,
think that was one of my concerns, and I said it to Sean. I was like, I just see some of our competitors are so awful in their
yeah,
approach. It like genuinely shocks me, and that was one of my concerns about
yeah,
looking to me because I was like, I don't know how to sort of work out who is and
you
who
judge
isn't like
that.
that. But like you can tell actually if I'm speaking to people, and I,
Yeah, I'm sure.
you know, I know I wouldn't. I'd be shocked if I came if some, if this
Yeah,
went anywhere and you were sharky because it doesn't give that impression at all. But it's
yeah,
awful,
yeah.
isn't it? I'd hate to work somewhere like that.
I would.
I think we really, and actually, I think when I started at Selling, we were encouraged to obviously, close the deals
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
At all costs.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly. And I think actually we've all kind of evolved a bit to just be like, well, I don't want to do that, and I don't feel
yes,
comfortable doing that, and I'm not having that conversation. And
yeah.
and actually, I think that's how we've have got bigger, and we have got the reputation that we've got. Because my
Really
clients
have,
come back to
yeah.
me and they say to me, I'm coming to you, and I'm only coming to you
I
because I
know.
just
And
don't
what a
trust
lovely
anybody
feeling
else.
that is.
I love it. I love it so much. And I say to people, don't speak to anyone else because they will give you rubbish, and you know that I will not. Like I'm not going to do that. And people trust me. So yeah,
And
yeah.
that's it. And but that's the thing. And to build up that reputation really does take such a long time. And like you say, you have to prove yourself like more than once to build that up really. And yeah, I mean we'll lose fees occasionally because
Yeah,
some agency is like you say doing this, that, and the other. But we kind of think it's very much it's about like long-term gain over short-term wins, isn't it, like you say? And when you've been around as a business and as individual consultants as long as some of us have, you can see it and you kind of think, I know that candidate's just been strong-armed into taking that job, which they're going to regret, and in 3 months they're going to phone me and it's me they'll come back to. So you know,
exactly.
we see it all the time. But
it goes like full circle, doesn't it? The clients come back, the candidates come back, and you know it will do. I think that is the benefit of the experience as well, because we have more junior people absolutely cut up about like certain things that haven't gone right. And it's like, you're fine, like in a week or 2 weeks, like it will come back. It's fine.
Absolutely. Swings and roundabouts every time, isn't it? It really is. But I have interviewed some like proper wide boys who sort of like you know, like 23-year-old lads who like strut into the office and like sit with their like hands and they like say things, and it literally makes me go like, oh no, you would not get into our office one bit, like
oh no, I'm glad
so absolutely. So well, look, you know, like I say, we are a bit of a blank page, to be honest with you. I know that's not very helpful for you at all, but it also does mean that, you know, there's opportunity, because it means that really we could bespoke and tailor and actually have a play around with a few things, you know, if we so choose to. So if you just want to again continue to just sort of think on, if you could draw up a plan of your ideal, and then we can sort of sit down and talk it through in a bit more detail and put a bit more meat on the bones, and and see if we can find something that would potentially be exciting for all parties, and just take it from there.
Yeah, no, that sounds brilliant. Thanks so much for your time. It's really helpful to speak to you.
Yeah, you too. It was lovely to meet you. Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, will do. Thanks, Gemma. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.